enjoyed that nice lively start to the show here on CRC FM on the 10th of January. It's a Thursday. I still haven't got round what day it is. That Christmas blur is still with me. I don't know how you are finding it, guys, out there. But anyway, big hello to all our friends in Mayo University Hospital, staff and patients. Nice to know you're listening, and hope we're not doing you any disservice in terms of music choices and interview subjects. Somebody told me once that the show is on in the operating theatre, and I thought, my God, the responsibility of that for anybody who is subconsciously listening to my voice and our music. But anyway, perhaps appropriate for my next item, because I'm going to chat to a very nice lady who has for a long number of years suffered from a condition that is often misunderstood, and of course I'm referring to ME. Myalgic Encephalitis is the long version of that, but ME is something that used to have some very derogatory nicknames associated with it and caused a lot of misunderstanding as a result. Joining me on the line is Christine Fenton. Good morning to you, Christine, first of all. How are you this morning?
Good morning.
I hope I am finding you on a good day.
No, one of the better days. Thank you.
Well, that's good news from our point of view and from yours. ME as a condition, can you tell me a little bit about it for the ignorant out there who might not know what we're talking about?
Well, it's a condition that is very poorly understood in Ireland and across the world, and people tend to think of it, and it's misnamed as being associated to fatigue. People are tired, and it isn't that at all. It's much more complex. So it's an illness whereby you appear fine to somebody, and then your energy system is broken. You can't create energy, so suddenly you become very ill. And it's what's called post-exertional neuroimmune exhaustion, whereby you undertake something, maybe have a shower or have a wash, and then suddenly your energy totally drains, and you struggle to get back to bed, and you then can't function. The whole digestive system doesn't work, the neurological symptoms, headache, difficulty sleeping, pain. So the whole gastro system is out, so you struggle to digest food, and eating, the action of eating is tiring, but the action of digesting is even worse.
I remember, sorry, I beg your pardon, but I remember coming across a book written by an American doctor, and she would have had a role in teaching and helping patients suffering from AIDS. And she said actually in research she had carried out, it was much more difficult for her to sustain her ME patients than it was to sustain mentally and physically patients who were diagnosed with AIDS. So a very tough neurological disease. Oh,
absolutely. And there's a recent piece of research out which actually evidences ME as having a much poorer quality of life than even things like people with kidney disease, cardiovascular disease, MS. But nobody's aware of that research within medical circles because nobody's following it up. So the HSE isn't aware.
A lot of people quite often have a condition triggered as a result of a very bad viral infection. ME can come on after something like that, featuring muscle twitching, I believe, post-exertional malaise. In fact, the exercise and how you feel after it is very characteristic of ME, and I believe that social interaction can even bring on fatigue.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even talking on the phone.
Yeah.
Speaking to people is actually one of the least preferred methods of communication. So within Ireland, because of the lack of support from the HSE and the lack of knowledge in the HSE about it, the support network is literally social media, people writing online to each other because they can take the time over writing.
Yeah.
They can do a line and come back at half an hour later and do a bit more in order to maintain a communication, because without us supporting ourselves, there's nowhere to turn for help.
When we talk about fatigue, a lot of people think we're speaking about tiredness, but fatigue is much more than that. I mean, the body is like a battery that can't hold its charge and needs constant... If you think of your car stopping every so often because the battery isn't holding its charge and then having to wait for that battery to recharge and start again, must be very frustrating.
I think one of the hard things is that so many of the people that I know in Ireland with it have had really active lives. They're passionate people, fascinating people with so much to give, and their lives have been stopped, and they're literally within a house, not being able to function or get out. They have away and had people lying in bed. Somebody I understand is in a darkened room, a young lad. Parents doing the best to look after him, and again, nobody knows what to do for them in the country, and you
very tough.
Literally have the lives gone. Yes.
We've got a little bit of interference on the line. I wonder, is there a radio on anywhere as a matter of interest, Christine? Possibly not, but just a bit of buzzing.
No, my signal here is Royal Island.
Not to worry. I don't want to keep you too long because I appreciate that even speaking on the telephone like this will bring its own pressures for you in terms of just neurological function and everything else. But you yourself were diagnosed with it. Do you want to tell me a little bit about when and what your life has been like, if it's not asking too much?
Not at all. Well, originally, I was diagnosed in 1990, but and I had it, for a while, and then it seemed to go away totally, and I carried on with my career, and then it came back in the early 2000s, and I ended up in 2011 onwards having 3 months a year in hospital because of the severity of it and the periods of paralysis that go with it at the more extreme end. I think what I've found is that the HSE, you meet staff who want to do their best for you, you meet staff who are totally dismissive of you, but there is no culture within the HSE that understands it. So there are people going in and out of hospital or to doctors. Some get somebody who wants to do the best for you, other people get people who dismiss them totally. We do have a piece from the HSE where there is a recommendation from a report that they are supposed to be setting up a working group to create guidance on ME, which will be huge if it takes place. So we're kind of watching and waiting to see if that will happen.
And finally, for you, you're at a different part of your journey to recovery and to coping with the condition. For anybody, particularly a young person, a teenager, and there are many of them around that it's often unspoken about, what would you say to a family who are coming to terms with a diagnosis of ME now? What is the best advice you could give them?
Stay within your limits. Whatever pressure is put on you to push through, do not.
Yeah.
Stay within your limits and contact other people in the country through the different websites and talk to people, because the expertise is there within the patient community.
And in other words, listen to the body.
Absolutely listen to the body, and do not go down under the pressure which you will receive from the majority of health practitioners to push through, to do more, mind over matter. It doesn't work and you will harm yourself.
And I know I said final question, but I have one more for you. I think, am I right in saying that ME is often confused with fibromyalgia?
It is, and they are two distinct illnesses. Obviously, a lot of symptoms overlap as they do between ME and MS, but FM, fibromyalgia, is far more focused on tender points and pain, and exercise can be helpful, whereas in ME it is absolutely contrary.
Yes. And the ME Trust, can you just remind people of how perhaps they could get in touch with that? I beg your pardon. I presume it's on the internet anyway in terms of contact details.
Absolutely. If you just look up the Irish ME Trust, and Declan is brilliant. He'll have a chat to folk, direct people in the right way. Very supportive, very helpful, and as the first point of contact, absolutely well worth doing. So the Irish ME Trust, and say have a chat with Declan.
Can I just say a big thank you to you for being brave enough to come on air and talk about this, and also to thank you for sharing your energy and having a chat about it with me. And also, lastly, I want to wish you good days ahead.
Thank you, and thank you for taking the time, because the more that this is publicised, the sooner things will happen to make changes. So thank you.
You're very welcome, Christine. I hope this is a good year for you. All the best.
Thank you, and you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Now, I do apologise about the quality of that line. Christine explained why there was a buzzing, but I just didn't want to not continue with the conversation when Christine had put so much trouble into getting ready to take that call at a time where her energy was up to it, really. ME sufferers out there, just to let you know that myalgic encephalomyelitis is being taken seriously as a serious neurological disease, and the ME Trust is out there for contact. But I'm taking one very important sentence from what Christine said: no matter what age you are, no matter what stage of the diagnosis you are, and that is, listen to the body and pace yourself.